If your kitchen is functional but still doesn't feel finished, even after a fresh coat of paint or a new appliance, this video is going to save you money, depending on whether you actually watch it. I've worked in small kitchens, rental kitchens, and starter home kitchens where the cabinets were staying put and the budget was tight, and the goal was simple: make the room look like it cost 3 times what it actually did. The same 8 moves show up in almost every kitchen that photographs and feels expensive, and every single one of them costs less than $30. One of them isn't a purchase at all. It's a habit most people never break because it feels harmless. It's the one that makes the single biggest difference on this entire list, and it's completely free. Here are 8 kitchen ideas that look ridiculously expensive, but aren't. We're going from 8 down to 1. The further down we go, the bigger the impact gets. You'll want to stay for number 1.
Number 8. Matching cabinet hardware. I understand why this gets skipped. The existing knobs and pulls technically work. Swapping them feels like a cosmetic detail, and most people assume new hardware means new cabinets too. But here's the real problem with mismatched hardware. Builder-grade kitchens are almost always installed with whatever hardware was cheapest at the time, which means 3 or 4 different finishes end up in the same sightline. A brushed nickel knob here, a chrome pull there, and that inconsistency reads as unfinished before anyone even notices the cabinets themselves. Here's what nobody tells you. It's not the cabinet color that dates a kitchen, it's the hardware. I worked in a rental kitchen with builder-grade oak cabinets and a mix of brass and chrome knobs left over from 2 different renovations. We swapped every knob and pull for matte black, single finish, same layout. The tenant said the kitchen looked renovated the same afternoon, and nothing structural had changed at all. Here's what to do instead. Pick one finish, matte black, brushed brass, or warm gold, and replace every knob and pull in the kitchen with that same finish. Standard cabinet knobs run $1 to $2 each. A full kitchen typically totals $20 to $30. A 10-pack of matte black cabinet knobs with matching screws included usually runs about $15 to $22 and covers most small kitchens in one order. I'll link some options in the description. But hardware only reads as intentional if the room around it isn't dim. Number 7 fixes that for less than a dinner out.
Number 7. Warm under-cabinet lighting. I get why people skip this. The overhead light already works, under-cabinet lighting sounds like an electrician job, and it feels like an upgrade for a kitchen you're renovating, not one you're just living in. But here's the real problem with relying on one overhead source. A single ceiling fixture lights the room evenly but flatly, and countertops in particular end up either overly bright or half in shadow, which is one of the fastest ways a kitchen reads as unfinished, regardless of how nice the counters actually are. This is the failure most people can't diagnose, because the kitchen has light, it's just coming from the wrong place. I worked in a kitchen lit only by a single flush mount fixture, where the counters looked flat and slightly gray in every photo. We added battery-powered LED puck lights under the upper cabinets set to a warm tone. The homeowner said the counters finally looked like the ones in the listing photos, and nothing else in the room changed. Here's what to do instead. Buy a set of battery or plug-in LED puck lights in a warm white tone, 2700K to 3000K, and stick them under the upper cabinets directly above the counter workspace. A basic 3 to 6-pack typically runs $18 to $28. A rechargeable LED puck light set with a warm white option and a remote dimmer usually runs about $20 to $28 for a pack of 6. Linked below. Number 6 is the cheapest way to give a blank wall a reason to exist. Number 6. One open shelf styled with restraint. I understand why people avoid this one. Removing a cabinet door feels risky. Open shelves mean everything is visible, including the mess, and a closed cabinet already holds more anyway. But here's the real problem with skipping it entirely. A single open shelf, styled with only a few objects, is what signals designed in a kitchen. It's the same reason a bookcase full edge to edge never looks as intentional as a shelf with breathing room around it. Most people assume open shelving needs a full renovation, when really it needs one shelf and restraint. I worked in a kitchen where the client had a blank stretch of wall between 2 upper cabinets. We mounted one 24-inch wood shelf and styled it with 3 items only: a stack of 2 bowls, a small plant, and 1 ceramic jar. The client said it was the first thing guests commented on, and the shelf plus brackets cost less than a single grocery run. Here's what to do instead. Mount one wood shelf, 18 to 24 inches, on a blank wall section. Style it with 3 to 4 items maximum, varying height, and leave at least a third of the shelf empty. Total cost for shelf and brackets, $15 to $28. But an open shelf only looks intentional if the floor underneath it doesn't look like an afterthought. Number 5 fixes that.
Number 5, a correctly placed runner rug. I get why this gets overlooked. Kitchen floors are for function, not decoration, and most people assume a rug just gets in the way near the sink or stove. But here's the real problem with a bare kitchen floor. A runner placed in front of the sink or stove is one of the fastest ways to add warmth and color to a room that's otherwise all hard surfaces: tile, counter, cabinet. And a kitchen without one single soft element almost always reads as cold, no matter how nice the cabinets are. I worked in a kitchen with all white cabinets and gray tile floor that photographed nicely but felt sterile in person. We added a single flat weave runner in front of the sink. The homeowner said the room finally felt lived in, and it was the only textile in the entire space. Here's what to do instead. Buy one flat weave or washable runner, sized to sit in front of your sink or stove, with a few inches of floor visible on each side. Budget runners typically run $18 to $28. A washable non-slip flat weave kitchen runner usually runs about $20 to $28 and holds up well near a sink. I'll link a few colors in the description. Number 4 is the fastest way to make open counters look curated instead of empty.
Number 4, a leaning wood cutting board as counter decor. I understand the instinct here. A cutting board is a tool, not decor, and most people store theirs in a drawer specifically so it's out of sight. But here's the real problem with hiding it. A large wood cutting board, leaned upright against the backsplash rather than laid flat, adds warmth and texture to a counter in the same way a vase or a piece of art does on a shelf. And it's one of the cheapest textural elements a kitchen can have, because it's a tool you likely already need to own anyway. I worked in a kitchen with all white counters and cabinets that felt flat in photos. We leaned one large end grain style wood board against the backsplash near the stove, angled slightly. The homeowner said the counter finally had something to look at, and the board did double duty as an actual cutting board. Here's what to do instead. Buy one large wood cutting board, 12 to 16 inches, and lean it upright against the backsplash near the stove or sink, rather than storing it flat in a cabinet. Budget wood boards typically run $15 to $28. Number 3 fixes the one surface people fill without ever noticing they've done it. Number 3, one coordinated set of canisters or jars. I understand why this happens. Flour, sugar, coffee, and pasta all come in their own mismatched packaging, and it feels wasteful to buy new containers for things that already have a container. But here's the real problem with leaving everything in its original packaging. 3 or 4 different brand bags and boxes lined up on a counter create visual noise in the exact same way mismatched picture frames do on a wall. It's clutter, even if every item is genuinely useful. Most people don't notice why their counter looks busy. They just feel like something's off. I worked in a kitchen where the counter held a cereal box, a bread bag, a coffee bag, and a pasta box side by side. We replaced all 4 with 3 matching glass canisters in one size and shape. The client said the counter looked like a different kitchen, and the canisters were the only thing that changed. Here's what to do instead. Buy 3 to 4 matching glass or ceramic canisters in the same shape and finish, and decant your most used pantry staples into them. Budget sets typically run $18 to $28 for 3. A 3-piece matching glass canister set with airtight lids usually runs about $20 to $28 and covers flour, sugar, and coffee in one order, linked below. Number 2 is the smallest object on this list with the biggest visual payoff. Number 2, one piece of greenery or a bowl of fruit. I get why this feels too simple to matter. A plant or a bowl of fruit isn't really decorating, it's just something sitting there, and it feels almost too obvious to be a real fix. But here's the real problem with a counter that has 0 living or organic elements. A kitchen made entirely of hard, manufactured surfaces, tile, laminate, stainless steel, needs at least one soft, organic shape to keep it from feeling clinical, and a single plant or bowl of fruit does that job for less than most people spend on takeout in one night. I worked in a kitchen with all white counters, cabinets, and appliances that looked almost like a showroom, clean but cold. We added one small potted plant near the window and a wood bowl with fruit on the island. The homeowner said the kitchen finally felt warm, and both items together cost less than $20. Here's what to do instead. Add one small potted plant, real or a realistic faux version, near a window or on the counter, and one bowl of fruit or citrus on the island or counter. Total cost for both, $12 to $25. Number 1 isn't something you'll buy. It's something most people do every single day without realizing it's working against them. Number 1, clearing the counters. This is the one I teased at the start, the move that isn't a product that every designer who's photographed a kitchen already knows, and that almost nobody actually does, because it doesn't feel like decorating at all. I understand why people resist this. Small appliances feel like they need to live somewhere, and counters feel like the obvious spot since they're already out and in daily use. But here's the real problem with a fully loaded counter. The single biggest visual marker separating an expensive-looking kitchen from a cheap-looking one is visible, clear counter space. High-end kitchens typically show most of the counter empty, with only a few intentional objects in view. A counter lined with a toaster, a coffee maker, a knife block, mail, and miscellaneous containers is one of the fastest subconscious signals of a lower-budget kitchen, regardless of how nice the cabinets or counters actually are. I worked in a kitchen where the counter held a toaster, a coffee maker, a knife block, a fruit bowl, mail, and 3 different bottles of oil, all in the same sightline. We put the toaster and coffee maker in a cabinet, moved the mail to a drawer, and left only the knife block and the fruit bowl out. Same counters, same cabinets, $0 spent, and the kitchen photographed and felt noticeably more expensive within the same afternoon. Here's what to do instead. Walk your counters, and for every stretch holding 3 or more items, remove at least 1. Into a cabinet, a drawer, or a box for a season. Keep only what you use daily in view. Total cost? $0. If you're missing most of these right now, that's completely normal. Almost every kitchen is. 7 of them cost less than $30 each to fix individually, and the one that matters most costs nothing at all. The kitchens that look expensive aren't necessarily the ones with the biggest renovation budget. They're the ones built around light, texture, and restraint, around what was edited and put away, not just what was bought. Which of these 8 are you trying first? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. If you want more ways to make your kitchen look expensive without spending like it, subscribe. There's a lot more of this coming. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.